I'd like to welcome everyone to the Minden City Council regular session on Monday, June 7th, 2021 at 5:30 p.m. in the City Hall Council Chambers. With our prayer, we'll have Tarika Williams-Walker. With our pledge, we will have Vincent Bradford. And I would like to ask everyone at this time to silence your cell phones.
Oh, Heavenly Father, I come to you today asking that you watch over each and every one of us here as we go about doing the business of the city. Just thank you for allowing us to come together again. Amen.
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 I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item A on your agenda is to adopt the minutes of the regular session held on May 3rd, 2021. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Wayne Edwards,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Michael Roy. Cast your vote, please. Is there any discussion? No discussion. It'll take it a while to set. We're having technical difficulties. Give us a minute, please.
Everybody push their button?
Yes.
Machine is going nuts.
Dress rehearsal next time.
It's not right.
What are you yelling?
I'll raise my hand.
Yeah.
Turn it back on again. Turn it off, turn it back on.
One second, reset.
Gotta love technology.
Nothing like it. I broke it.
Need a little Jeopardy music or something.
Dun, dun, dun.
Show hands.
Okay. We're going to do this the old-fashioned way. The vote on the table is to adopt the regular council meetings. And all in favor, say aye and raise your right hand.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Okay. Motion passes. Did you get who voted? Ms. Pittman? Thank you. Next on the agenda is item B, appointment of a Public Works Director. Do I have a motion?
I move to appoint Tyler Wallace as Public Works Director for the City of Minden, subject to passing all applicable tests.
Motion made by Mr. Michael Roy, seconded by
Second.
Ms. Pam Bloxham. Is there any discussion?
Mayor, I would like to point out, looking at this young man's resume, he, doesn't have a whole lot of work experience, but he meets several of our qualifications. For example, on education and experience, he's got 2 out of the 3. Knowledge, skills, and abilities, he's got 6 out of the 7 things we're asking. He's currently managing a multi-million-dollar facility, so he manages people. He manages the permits with state and local levels that he has to have, to do those things. He manages subcontractors. This young man is well-rounded altogether. He's got his, if I remember correctly, his, let me find it, the water treatment certification. He's got several things going for him. He's young. He wants to live here in Minden. I think we would really be amiss if we didn't put this young man to work for the citizens of Minden. And I have to look at it for everybody. I can't just look at it for District D, because my vote affects everybody in this city. And so I just feel that if we don't, we're really missing out a good opportunity. The young man even came up from Houston when the storms hit to see what he could do to help us. Saturday he came in there and served meals with us and stuff. So, he's just a well-rounded guy, and he has some ability, some potential, and I just think it would be wrong if we didn't put him to work.
And Mr. Roy, I agree with everything that you're saying, 100%. Are there any other comments? There being no other comments, all in favor of voting for Mr. Tyler for the new Public Works Director, raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Okay. Next on the agenda is item C.
Don't tell them that the motion failed.
The motion, what,
Okay.
did you know the motion failed?
against, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, I think I got it working.
Okay, then the next one, we'll use the clicker. Item C on the agenda is to appoint a new individual to the Minden Planning Commission. This individual's from District D. That completes a representative from each district. Do I have a motion?
Upon the recommendation of Building Official Brent Cooley and Mayor Terry Gardner, I move to appoint Mr. Morris Busby to the Minden Planning Commission to replace Mr. Steve Bryan, and whose term will expire in July of 2026.
Motion made by Mr. Michael Roy,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Wayne Edwards. Is there any discussion here?
Mayor, all districts are now represented, correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct. Being no discussion, all in favor, cast your vote, please. Well, motion passes unanimously in blue. Well, okay, in green. Okay, now it's green.
It's just saying they voted.
Okay. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Morris.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you.
Mayor, I would also like to take this opportunity to publicly thank Steve Bryan, 14 years on the Planning Commission, and we really appreciate his service.
Thank you, sir. Item D on the agenda is personnel. with the police department. Do I have a motion on this?
Upon the recommendation of Police Chief Steve Cropper, I move to approve the promotion of Midland Police Sergeant Brandon Curry to the rank of lieutenant.
Motion is made by Mr. Wayne Edwards,
I second.
seconded by Mr. Vincent Bradford. Do we have any discussion? There being no discussion, cast your vote, please. Mr. Bradford,
I voted.
go ahead and change your vote.
You can't now, it's closed.
I didn't vote. This thing ain't working.
Did you vote unanimously?
Right, I was the one that seconded it, right?
Okay, let's let the record show that it was a unanimous vote, even though Mr. Bradford's clicker didn't click correctly. Item E on your agenda is another personnel for the police department promotions. Do I have a motion, please?
Upon the recommendation of Police Chief Steve Cropper, I move to approve the promotion of Midland Officer Police Michael Mitchell Hatchett, Donald Bryce, and Jeremy Sitter to the rank of sergeant.
They've passed all their civil service examinations as well. Motion was made by Mr. Bradford, seconded. Motion was made by Mr. Edwards, seconded by Mr. Bradford. Cast your votes, please. Motion passes unanimously. If you'll move to condemned properties on G.
Go. F.
Roster.
F, Mayor.
Okay, another approval for the police department rank of position and roster. Do I have a motion on that?
Upon the recommendation of Police Chief Steve Cropper, I move to approve the Minden Police Department rank and position roster as presented.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Pam Bloxham, seconded by Mr. Michael Roy. Is there any discussion there?
Yeah, I've got a question.
Okay.
Chief, I see where you rank structure table. You got a proposed rank position that at the time you have 12. I see where your proposal is for 9.
Patrol,
Table 1, is that right?
table 1,
In the current position, you have 12 lieutenants.
right now I want to reduce that to 9.
Okay, and I noticed here on the second page, number 9, you say that the authorization of the proposed Midland Police Department ranking position plan 2021 by the appointed authority would not demote any personnel from the current.
And that's correct, and nobody will be demoted.
What would they would still collect lieutenant pay?
No.
How you gonna do that? Go from 12 to 9?
What I'm doing is eliminating some lieutenant positions because we're so top heavy. And those positions aren't filled. If I don't eliminate them, then by law, I have to promote when they pass the test. So it's not demoting anybody. It's just eliminating some positions
But some of these 12 are,
are open, correct?
oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
Effective date when, and what is the consequence for the new budget?
The new budget should, because what it's actually doing is taking away some lieutenant positions and opening up some sergeant positions. That does not mean necessarily that they will be filled. Now, I do have some openings now, and that's what we filled tonight. Should not affect very little at all.
So when you did this proposed rank positions, did you include Brandon Curry as being one of the lieutenants?
Right. Yes.
And the
Yeah,
other,
I'm losing, I got a lieutenant that's retiring at the end of this month.
Okay.
And so that position will not be filled because of Brandon being put in there. That will cap it out, I believe.
Chief, I have a question on, and I missed this in our meeting the other day. Under the Criminal Investigations Division, you've got rank Police Lieutenant OFC Shane Griffith. Is he a lieutenant or is he an OFC?
OSC.
So is that going to be changed?
I mean, not until, I mean, he would have to go through the steps to get there and time to get there. It's not just an automatic.
So then that should be replaced, it shouldn't say police lieutenant, it should say police OFC. Okay. That's what I figured, but I forgot to ask that the other day when we all met.
Ms. Pittman, did you make those noted changes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Are there any more comments or questions? Ms. Pittman made the noted changes on there. So all in favor, cast your votes. Pass unanimously. Now we're going to go to G, condemned properties. Our first property that we have is Mr. George Harper Estate. Is there anyone here with the George Harper Estate?
Would you like for me to make a report on?
Yes, sir. There's no, well, is there someone here?
Yes.
There's not.
There's not? Okay. Yes, sir, Judge, if you'll come up here and make your report, please, sir.
Please, the mayor and members of the council, I was appointed as curator on May the 4th, 2021. On May the 6th, 2021, I sent a certified letter to the estate of George Harper Sr. at the address that I had been given. I also sent a letter by regular mail that same date, and I marked that one, please forward. I've had no response. The certified letter was returned, marked returned to sender, vacant, unable to forward. And the regular letter had the same marking on it, returned to sender, not deliverable as addressed, unable to forward. I've heard nothing from anyone concerning that estate.
well, I guess my question is this: if this is the property that's going to be condemned and you sent a letter to that property, then no one's living there. So,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
no one, this is the property, this is the address of the property that you're to be appointed the curator of, correct?
Yes.
And you sent a letter there, but no one's there. That's why you're being appointed as the curator, because it needs to be condemned. So why send a letter to that address?
The letter I sent the letter to the George Harper Estate in care of 132 Hill Street. That's the address that the tax assessor used, and that's also the address that the letter had previously gone out from the mayor and the
Well, you haven't gotten a response because, again, this is the property that they want you to be appointed to because it needs to be condemned. So that would mean no one is living there, so, but you're sending the letter to the address of the property that needs to be condemned. So you're not gonna get a response.
But you can only send it to the address that you have on file with the tax assessor, correct, Judge?
Yes, sir, and that's the only address I have.
Okay.
If somebody on the council has got an address and you want to furnish it to me, I'd be glad to send another letter out.
Well, let me answer this. One of the nephews, I've been in contact with him about one of the nephews on this property.
I don't have any idea.
Oh, I know you don't, but I do. And what he's asked, that we give him some additional time, we can make it to the summer, he's gonna try to take care of that himself.
I don't have any objection to that. And there's going to be some others who are asking for more time. I'll tell you that in advance.
I understand.
Mr. Wayne, didn't we give,
I can't hear.
is this one of the people, residents that are properties we gave extra time last time to?
It's this,
No.
No, okay.
Would you furnish us that information of where we can get in touch with the,
I'll get it to Cooley.
okay. Okay, so let's have a motion.
Yeah, I have it. I move to authorize the mayor to issue an order declaring the property condemned and furthermore order demolition of any structure located on the property thereof and to clean the lot within 90 days from this date.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Walker. Ms. Pittman, did you get the 90 days? Okay. Is there any more discussion on this piece of property? There being no other discussion, please cast your vote. Motion passes unanimously. The second one on the agenda is the estate of Jewel Howard, Chester Howard, Mary Howard Thomas, Lee Howard Joshua, Lola Howard Greer, Olivia Howard Carr, and B.F. Martin.
No.
I'm sorry, no, the address is B.F. Martin, I'm sorry. Is there anyone here representing that property?
I could tell you, Your Honor, that if I may make my report, there is a lady here. Ms. Margie Howard Jackson is here.
Yes, sir.
I was appointed on May the 4th, 2021, and I sent a certified letter to Mrs. Margie Howard Jackson in care of the Jewel Howard et al. Estate, and I sent that also by regular mail. And so I received a telephone call from Mrs. Margie Howard Jackson saying that she was the only living child at this time, and there had been 6 heirs previously, but it's my understanding that they're not living. She's the only living one. Now she is here today, and she's seated right over here. When she called me, I explained the proceedings to her. I told her, and she indicated to me that she wanted some time to clean up the property. I think there's a mobile home on this property, and she wants to tear it down and move the mobile home, and then she wants to clean up the underbrush and other things on the property, but she says she needs more time. I invited her to come to this meeting, and I have told her that I would try to ask the council to give her an opportunity to speak for herself as to what she wants. I don't represent her, you understand?
Yes, sir.
I just am the curator, and I notified her, and so she knows about it, so she's here. And if you'd let her respond, I would appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. Will you come up to the microphone, please, and state your name and your address and the city that you live in?
I am Margie Howard Jackson. Thank you for this privilege to be able to come to the meeting to speak on behalf of this property. All of my father's sisters, and he had one brother, they are deceased. And my my mother paid the property taxes after my father died. It's been going on for those. They are all gone now. So I'm in charge of the property tax. And the land have been in my family when I was a little girl. My grandfather made sure that he left some land for sure. And it's something that I would love to keep. And I would appreciate if I could get some time, and because it's raining now, and then the weather's going to get hot. And so I would like enough extended time to make sure. First, I would like to tear the old trailer house down, then work on the grounds. But I do need quite a bit of extended time to get that done.
Yes, ma'am. How much time would you like?
I would like at least 6 months,
6 months.
if I can get that.
Do I have a motion to that effect?
Yes, sir.
Would you make that, Mr. Edwards?
I will.
Thank you, ma'am.
Authorize the mayor to issue an order declaring the property condemned, and further order demolition of any structure located thereon and the cleaning of lot within 6 months of this date.
We have a motion made by Mr. Wayne Edwards, seconded by Mr. Michael Roy. Do we have any further discussion on this piece of property? All in favor, cast your vote, please.
Oh, I did.
There you go. Motion passes unanimously. Item 3 on condemned properties is Lonzelli Green on 315 Gilbert Street, District B. Do we have Mr. Green here?
Not that I know of, Your Honor. Lonzie Green here.
Judge, could you give us your report, please, sir?
I was appointed again on this case May the 4th, 2021. On the May the 6th, I sent a certified letter to Mr. Lonzie D. Green, and I also sent a letter by regular mail on that same date. The certified letter was signed for on May the 8th. The only signature that I could read on that just said Green. But I did receive the green card back showing that, and the regular letter then was not returned. And I've had no response from anybody concerning this matter.
Thank you, Judge. Do I have a motion on this property or any further discussion from questions of the judge?
I see here what this property was adjudicated to Webster Parish Police Jury in 2016.
Yes, sir.
That's correct. It was adjudicated to the police jury May the 18th, 2016. I might tell you that I had a conversation with Secretary of Treasurer. There's 2 or 3 properties like that in here. I had a conversation with the Secretary of Treasury of the Webster Parish Police Jury. I asked her if they wanted to be notified about this, and their answer is that they treat the property as if they do not own it, they don't want it, and they don't want to have notice about it. And so I didn't send them notice.
And they will not make any efforts to clean it up or anything either.
No, they're not going to spend any money on it.
And it's really a hazard for,
Well, don't they have to turn it over to the city, or if they don't want it, we just take it?
Well, they have
Trying to see how that works.
They have some procedures that they can go through to dispose of properties that have been adjudicated to them, but my information that when I talked to the Secretary of Treasury was that there's a long list of properties that have been adjudicated to the police jury, and they don't have any purchasers available, and and no ways to move the properties, and there's a whole long list of them.
Can we do that, Mr. Cool? Just take it if they don't want it?
Well, we're not actually taking it. We're just condemning the building that's on it. But eventually, the parish will get title to it and be able to sell it on their disposal, just like when we sell adjudicated properties. But until then, they won't do like us and take care of the problems that exist there.
Or mow it.
Well, my question is, why are we contacting Mr. Green if the parish? That's my question.
There again, just like he said, the parish tells us,
Doesn't own it anymore.
the parish tells us that they don't own it either, so this is the only option we really have.
Yeah, but if we pay to have it demolished, then the parish gets to sell it and collect the money. That just doesn't make sense.
What it doesn't make sense to me is that the property was adjudicated to the parish when it's inside the city limits. I don't know how that happens and how it works. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, if we take the building down and then we send the bill to the parish and to the property owner and nobody pays it, then we put a tax lien against it. Goes right against the taxes, and then whenever they sell it, they have to collect that for us.
Okay.
So it might be, 10, 15 years down the road.
Yeah.
But the problem being, if you look at the house, it's dangerous for the neighborhood. The people around there don't deserve to live around a house looking like this and with rodent infestation. It's towards the very back.
Yeah. Okay. I move to authorize the mayor to issue an order declaring the property condemned and further order the demolition of any structures located thereon and the cleaning of the lot within 45 days of this date.
Motion made by Ms. Walker, seconded by Mr. Bradford. Is there any further discussion? There being no further discussion, cast your vote, please. Motion passed unanimously. Okay. Next on your condemnation, number 4, is Mary Harris Sims, Miss Minnie Harris Smith, and that's at 614 Long Street. Do we have anybody here? Marshall? No one here?
I've had no response from anyone about that. And if I'll make my report, then that's the same as the others in that sense, that I was appointed on May the 4th, 2021. I sent out a certified letter to Ms. Minnie Harris Smith and in care of Mary Harris Sims et al. And I sent that by certified mail. I have not received the green card, and the letter has not been returned. I sent another letter just like that by regular mail. It was returned, unable to forward. This property was adjudicated to the police jury May the 17th, 2017. And once again, I notified the police jury about these proceedings, and they expressed no interest in the matter. And I have not heard anything from any of the family members.
We've had no contact from in our office either.
Our building official recommends motion B. Do I have a motion on that?
I move to authorize the mayor to issue an order declaring the property condemned and further order the demolition of any structures located thereon and the cleaning of the lot within 45 days of this date.
Motion made by Ms. Walker,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Wayne Edwards. Is there any further discussion? There being no further discussions, cast your vote, please. Motion passed unanimously. Okay. Our next piece of property here is number 5, Miss Essie Lee Ivory Estate at 501 Searle Street in District B. Is there anyone here representing that property? No?
There could be a Mr. Anthony Mitchell. I'll make my report, and then I'll tell you, I've had 2 conversations with Mr. Mitchell.
Okay.
I was appointed on May the 4th, and I sent out a certified letter and also a regular mail letter on May the 6th. The certified letter was returned, the green card was returned with a date of May the 10th, and the signature on it was A. Mitchell. The regular letter was not returned. I've had 2 telephone conversations with Anthony Mitchell. He called me on May the 20th. And in that conversation, he told me that he had some men whom he had hired to clean up this property, but they somehow did not follow through on what he wanted them to do, and so he needed more time. I invited Mr. Mitchell to come to this meeting today and told him about the proceedings and told him that he could come and make a personal appearance. And he said he would come, and I thought until today that he would be here. However, today, I think it was this morning, I received a second phone call from Anthony Mitchell. He told me that he was having some medical problems and that he was not able to come. He didn't have transportation. He had tried to get a bus, but the bus schedule was not acceptable. He lives in New Iberia, Louisiana. And he told me that he would like to have more time, and he asked that if you would consider it, if you could just postpone this hearing for 30, 60 days and give him that much time, and then for him to be able to recover so maybe he can come and be here in person.
Thank you, Judge.
That's my report.
Well, I spoke with Mr. Mitchell this morning also. And I also spoke with Ms. Edwards, the tax assessor. So there's some issues there because he was in the process of having that house torn down, but then the police was called on him. So it's some other issues going on. So I had a conversation with him as well. And Ms. Edwards spoke with him, but I don't know what they came up with as to who actually owns that property. So it's some issues that needs to be worked out, but we can give him, at least 60 days. Because they've already started and it looks a mess.
Was Mr. Mitchell up here?
No, he's not here. He was at home when I spoke with him.
So the police was actually called on whoever he had tearing it down?
And they had to stop.
Okay.
Are they aware that there's a lien on the property?
Yeah. He didn't know. It's complicated. So that's why I advised him to speak with Ms. Edwards so they could get it cleared up. It's complicated.
There's a mortgage or a lien in favor of One Main Financial, and it's in the amount of $8,522.88.
So you said a lien, so they have foreclosed and they have a lien on the property?
They could. I don't see why they couldn't, yes.
Well, just from looking at the structure, that's a bad situation. So
It could be either foreclosing to get the structure or maybe to for themselves to get rid of the structure, and that maybe they just get the land.
Ms. Walker, this is in your district. What's your pleasure?
We can do 60 days.
60 days?
Yeah.
Okay, so are you making a motion for?
I am. I move to authorize the mayor to issue an order declaring the property condemned and further order the demolition of any structures located thereon and the cleaning of the lot within 60 days of this date.
Motion made by Ms. Walker, seconded by?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Wayne Edwards. Cast your vote, please. Motion passes unanimously. Number 6 on your demolition agenda is J.C. Morris Estate at 404 South Street, District B. Would you give your report, please, sir?
Yes, I was appointed on May the 4th, 2021, to represent these absentee owners. I sent out a mail by certified mail dated May 6th, 2021, and also I sent a letter by regular mail. The regular mail was not returned. The green card on the certified letter was returned, and it was signed by somebody. But I'll have to tell you that
It says
for me,
COVID-19.
ma'am,
The printed name says COVID-19.
well, but the signature, yeah, that's written under what purports to be the signature, but the signature is unintelligible, you know.
Yeah.
The point is, I have not been contacted by anyone. That's not true. I have been contacted by Billy Walker. I've been contacted by him twice. He called first, and in the letter that I sent to you all on June the 1st, I described that conversation, and he said that he was the only living heir of J.C. Morris. He said his mother was Chanstance Morris, who died in September of 2020. He said that J.C. Morris was his grandfather, and his grandfather donated this property at 404 South Street to his mother. He said the succession of his mother had been done, and I invited him to come to this meeting, and he said he would come to ask for some more time to clean up the property. I had to look around to see if he was here, but apparently he is not here.
He's here.
He's here.
Is he?
Oh,
Oh, is he here?
Yes.
Is Billy Walker here?
Welcome up.
If you'll give us your name and your address, please, sir.
Billy Walker, 607 East Street, Minden, LA.
Yes, sir. What's your intentions with the property?
Oh, I just need a little time to clear it all out.
How much time do you need, sir?
At least about 2 months.
About 60 days?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can we do 60 days? Can I have a motion on that?
Why not take 90?
I was about to say, are you sure you need 60 days or 90?
Well, give me 90. That's
So
what
we can make sure it's gonna get done.
it's gonna get done.
Okay.
Okay. Could I have a motion on that, Ms. Walker?
Yeah. Okay, I move to authorize the mayor to issue an order declaring the property condemned and further, no, it's not gonna be, you're not gonna demolish it, or what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna clear the land.
You're just gonna clear it, okay. Condemn and further order the demolition of any structures located thereon and the cleaning of the lot within 90 days of this date.
We have a motion made by Ms. Walker,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Wayne Edwards. Is there any further discussion?
Mayor, I'd like to be sure he's clear that after 90 days, if it's not gone, the city's going to move on and take care of it for you.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Cast your vote, please.
I believe that concludes my reports, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you. Number 7 is a piece of property owned by Opal Land Corporation Company, LLC. The address is 409 Chestnut. It's in District B.
Everything in District B.
It is, isn't it? What's the position of the council on that?
So this property is adjudicated to Webster Parish Police Bureau also.
Okay.
Yes, sir, and it's tied up with the land company. There are some complications. That's why the recommendation is to assign a curator.
So, do we have a recommendation, Ms. Walker?
Yeah, I move to authorize the mayor to appoint a curator to represent the property owner.
Motion made by Ms. Walker,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Bradford. Is there any further discussion? Cast your vote, please. Motion passes unanimously. Number 8 is Johnny Benton Kennan, 409 Whitford Street, District C. Is there anybody here with that property?
Miss Kennan, she's at the school board meeting, so she couldn't make it because they started at 6 o'clock.
Yes, sir.
She asked me what I asked the council and the mayor for some extended time. And I guess I will.
That's a double-wide trailer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I mean, but it's been there.
That's on the corner, isn't it?
No, sir, that's,
It's not on the corner?
It's kind of hard for me.
it's the old trailer on Winford that's got the tree laying through the middle of it.
Right in the building.
All right.
This property's been like that probably a year and a half, but I'm gonna show the kindness in my heart and ask that we give her 90 days
Okay.
since we're being generous today.
Okay. Would you make that in a motion, Mr. Bradford?
I move to authorize the mayor to issue an order declaring the property condemned and further order the demolition of any structure located there on the clearing of the lot within 90 days of this date.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Bradford,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Roy. Cast your vote, please. Motion passes unanimously. Our last piece of property is owned by Hope Youth Ranch Incorporated, 502 Pine Street, and that's in District C.
This might be, I didn't, we haven't had any contact that I know of. You, Mr. Cooter?
Yes, sir, we've talked to Mr. Walter Ledig. He is part of that, but he let us know that he is no longer involved with it, so it goes to Hope Youth Ranch. We had no avenue of getting in touch with all the owners there, so we're recommending that it goes to curator and let them notify everyone.
He sold out, didn't he?
I think that's the,
But he couldn't give us any information about who he sold it to?
I didn't talk to him.
He hasn't had any ownership in that property in years. That property was owned by Hope Youth Ranch Incorporated, now a defunct corporation that owns nothing. I will say,
I have a little information on that.
let me go ahead and finish giving mine, and then if you can add to it, you will. You can, please, sir, Mr. Samuel. The taxes have been being paid by Mr. Roy Martinez. His daughter lives in the back, and now if you look at your picture, there's the trailers that they're wanting to tear down, but the store, the convenience store, is still standing, and there's an apartment in the back of there, and she's been living back there. Now, who owns it? Who knows? But your contact person is going to be Mr. Martinez. So, Mr. Samuel, if you know anything, would you stand up and speak loudly where we can hear you?
I've seen the gentleman there in past years working on it, and he was cleaning slowly or whatever. I wasn't aware there was actually somebody still living in it. I haven't seen anybody there in years. He and his wife have been there for a while, working on it.
His wife has passed away.
Yeah, I haven't seen any activity doing there in years, but I wasn't aware of anybody in the
Yes, sir.
So you said the taxes have been paid by who?
The taxes in the past have been paid by Mr. Martinez. Now, I don't know if the taxes are paid currently or not. So, do we just want to, Mr. Bradford, do you
Well, I move
okay.
to authorize the mayor to appoint a curator to represent the property owner.
Okay. Motion made by Mr. Bradford, seconded by Mr. Wayne Edwards. Are there any more comments on that? Okay. There being no,
The main problem with the property is there's still gas tanks buried there, nobody wants to take responsibility for it.
I'm familiar with that too. That was a nice corner at one time. I don't know why I want to say that. Okay. We're ready to vote. Mr. Roy?
I pushed it. I'll push it again.
Motion passes unanimously. Okay, if you look at 8H on your agenda, that's to adopt the ordinance number 1117, annexation of property. This is the final step to bring Quick Draw Travel Casino into the city, and after it's approved tonight, it'll be published in the paper for 30 days, and then they'll be in the city. So do I have a motion on that, please?
I move to adopt ordinance number 1117, annexation of property, annexing that certain city property more fully described in ordinance number 1117 into the corporate limit of the city of Minden.
Motion is made by Mr. Wayne Edwards,
Seconded.
seconded by Ms. Pam Bloxham. Is there any further discussion on that? There being no further discussion, cast your vote, please.
I didn't punch that.
Push it again.
Passage unanimously. Item I on your agenda is to adopt the resolution for the Minden Airport Relief Grant Program.
Mayor, I move to adopt the resolution authorizing you to accept grant number 3-22-0032-015-2021 titled Airport Coronavirus Relief. Coronavirus Relief Grant Program from the Federal Aviation Administration to help offset a decline in revenues arriving from diminished airport operations and activities at the airport as a result of COVID-19, and into a grant agreement with the Federal Aviation Administration as presented. Sorry, I forgot my glasses, my cheaters. I tried to find some.
Motion is made by Mr. Michael Roy,
Seconded.
seconded by Ms. Pam Bloxham. Is there any discussion? There being no further discussion, cast your vote, please. Motion passes unanimously. If you look at item J on your agenda, that's the approval of a memorandum of understanding by and between JBL Communications LLC, doing business as V1 Fiber, and the city of Minden. Are there any questions?
I got one for Kip. Ms. Smart. And I know we're in the process of receiving funds from the federal government. Some of that grant money will be used for this, or what? Or do you know?
No, sir. None of the grant money that we're receiving from the first one that we discussed in the previous workshop, the 4.2, is not going to be used for this.
And so you have other sources to get the money
Yeah, this
from?
is mainly from the USDA grants.
Very good, very good.
Let's have a motion.
Okay. I move to approve the memorandum of understanding by and between JBL Communications LLC and Davon V1 Fiber in the city of Minden, and authorize the mayor to sign an agreement as presented.
That motion is made by Mr. Wayne Edwards, seconded by Ms. Walker. Are there any other questions to Mr. Smart about this grant and the monies that he's reaching out for to get for our city? No other questions. Thank you, Mr. Smart. Cast your vote, please. Item K on your agenda is to authorize to enter into a contracting service agreement with Southwestern Electric Power Company. For those of you sitting in the audience and for listening to us at home, that has nothing to do with the contract that we're now in with AEP SWEPCO. This is totally separate. This is a contract that, should we go through another tornado like we went through this past weekend, we're first on their list to release trucks to our area to help us restore our power. So it's a contract separate. It has nothing to do with our power agreement at all. With that being said, do I have a motion?
I move to authorize the mayor to negotiate, enter into, and sign a contracting services agreement with Southwestern Electric Power Company as presented.
Motion is made by Ms. Pam Bloxham, seconded by Mr. Michael Roy. Is there any further discussion on this? There being no further discussion, cast your vote, please. Motion passes unanimously. Don't break it. Item L on the agenda is to authorize to advertise for bids for the 2020-2021 street improvement project for the overlay of Longleaf Drive and Woodard Drive. This is a budgeted item and the funds are there. Do I have a motion?
I move to authorize the city clerk to advertise for bids for the 2020-2021 street improvements project.
Motion made by Ms. Pam Bloxham, seconded by Mr. Michael Roy. Are there any comments from the audience? Okay. We'll take one at a time. When you come up, give us your name and your address, please.
Tracy Campbell, 247 Woodard Drive, Minden. I'll just make my comments brief, and for those of you that have been in previous workshops, you've heard my comments, you've seen my pictures, you've seen the reports and heard the report from our streets director, Terry Combs, that our streets that are mentioned on your agenda today are the highest priority streets in Minden. And like I say, every time it rains, the situation just gets worse. Filling in the potholes only causes additional problems. It's just a temporary fix until the next rain comes. If you drive down there today, you'll probably see it's as bad as it's ever been. And so I implore you tonight to do the right thing and please address our streets and let's get them fixed permanently or as permanently as we can so that we can continue to preserve our vehicles. And I thank you for your time. Thank you.
Do we have any other comments? Yes, sir. If you'll come up and give us your name and your address, please, sir.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. I'm Marvin Garrett. My address is 165 Woodard Drive, Minden, Louisiana. Good to see you all again. I just reiterate what Tracy said. I actually had a family member blew a tire out here a couple months ago on Longleaf, actually. And I was a policeman here for 30 years in the city. I've literally driven up and down probably every city street in this town throughout my career. And now I'm over at the sheriff's office and I continue to drive most of the roads, not as often as I did, but still drive almost every street in the city. And Longleaf and Woodard is, as even Terry has stated, the worst street inside the city limits of Minden. And we just, speaking with all of the other residents and speaking on behalf of myself and the other residents of that community, we would just encourage you to please vote to let this move forward, and we appreciate each and every one of your time and consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone from outside that would like to come in and say anything?
I think you do, Mayor. I think you do, Mayor.
I do?
Nobody wants to speak?
No, someone's coming.
We have nobody out here, but there are 16 people out in the hallway.
And they're all standing up. Glad to see y'all. Okay, if we don't have any more comments, could we cast our vote, please? Motion passes unanimously to put it out for bids. Thank you. Item M on the agenda. Now, we'd like for y'all to stay for the rest of the meeting. Because we've got more good news about our sales tax. Item M on the agenda is for our budget and financial report for April of 2021. Mr. Fleur.
Mr. Mayor, council members, residents of the city of Minden, I'm glad to see a good participation tonight here. That shows if we have some items on the agenda, the participation is here. And I'm glad to advertise for bids for the projects on Woodard and Longleaf as soon as possible. The summary report for all funds for the month of April was provided to you for your review. For all the major funds, sales tax, sewer plant sales tax, general fund, and water and electric funds. The period figures are indicating still an unfavorable variance, mainly due to revenue deficiencies in the water and electric fund, and also because of the unusual high SWEPCO electricity bill for the month of February. Even so, the sales tax funds are showing higher income figures than expected. Talking about sales tax figures, and I provided for you tonight not only a graph which compares the last 4 years, but also the copy of the notification from the sales tax office. And you're going to see that we are way above what previous years show. You're basically going to look a similar line in 2017, 2018. Talking about figures, collection for the month of April, we have about $635,000, $634,890. Previous year, $506,000, $506,224. Budgeted amount is $513,000. So we are way above the budgeted amount. If we continue that way, without any increases compared to the previous year, if we're going to take the previous year figures, just add to them, we're going to probably collect about $7 million on sales tax. Budgeted amount, $6.2 million. So there is an increase, $800,000 to be expected if everything goes the normal way. Delinquent amounts were in the 635, about $16,000. The cash report for the end of April shows that actual cash in the bank, $7.3 million. And these are banks locally here in town. Investments, $4.6 million, savings in CDs, also in local banks, 4.1 million. Makes a total of 16 million. Previous months, we had 16.1 million. Some other information related to the finances. Number one, our auditors are in the final stretch to complete the audit for the fiscal year 2019-2020. And I hope that we can stay in the deadline we requested to be the end of June. June the 30th actually is the deadline to turn in the audit. I spoke to Mrs. Cole, and like I said, she's in the final stretch to bring it down. I hope that we may gonna get in the July council meeting a verbal report about the audit. Number two, we still have not received any money, nor even announcement when we gonna receive from the state the expected amount through the American Rescue Plan. I contacted today the Louisiana Department of Treasury, and the answer was, I got the answer this afternoon after 4 o'clock. We checked with the Division of Administration, and the Office of Community Development is working to get access to an online portal the state will be using to distribute funds. The portal isn't available yet, but please contact Ms. Watts at the contact information below for any further assistance. So I will stay on the ball. I will gonna contact Ms. Watts to find out what we can do. We had prepared and provided all the requested information, like the DUNS number, the ID number, person of contact, and so on. So I believe on our side we are good to receive the funds. We really count on the funds. So I will stay on the ball and contact Ms. Watts. And last but not least, and it's always a bad thing to talk about, SWEPCO. We had noticed in the past the electricity bills additional and unexpected charges related to the weather disaster in February. I also received this afternoon some information that SWEPCO was talking to pipeline providers that they believed that some costs should be waived, and they sent in their note, after reviewing our dispute notification, we recently received notice from the pipeline agreeing to the reversal of a total pipeline charge of $24.9 million. Such reversal will be allocated by us as a credit on a load basis amongst our customers. So we may gonna see some relief. I don't know how much. The bill they send along with that email doesn't let me know very much how much money they talk about. So we need further information on the SWEPCO situation. That's all what I have. I want to remind all council members that on the 16th, we have hopefully the final budget workshop to provide serious information how we're gonna manage the fiscal year 21-22. With all that, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Mr. Michael, I asked our interim city clerk for some revenue and expenses, and just short and sweet numbers. Overall, right now, the city is in a negative position, and that's very troublesome, because of everything that's going on. So we've got to be very diligent in the way we spend our money. It's very important because we could get ourselves in a world of mess real quick. And so, I just ask the public to pray about this and have patience with us as we put this budget together, because there's some pretty big items in our budget that we need to get done that will affect sewer, different things like this that we all rely on. And so one of the other things that I'm not sure that the citizens know is that, SWEPCO has now billed us over right at $3 million, if I remember that number correctly. And so we're trying to combat that on your guys' behalf, because that's a whole lot of money that I feel that we shouldn't have to pay. And hopefully something which Michael brought up is that we'll hopefully have something come about from this, because we're just in a real bad situation on some things. So I just kind of want to bring it out. We need y'all's thoughts and prayers desperately for this city as a whole. We're really in a situation. And I'm not trying to be negative. I'm trying to be realistic. We can have good months and we can have bad months. But if we're not careful and we don't do what's best for this city as a whole, we're going to be in trouble.
Are there any other comments? None other. Thank you, Mr. Fleur, for your report. Chief, you're up.
Good evening, everyone. Okay, the month of April, we collected $14,611.50 in city fines. $140 went to the crime lab, $543.50 went to city court, $510 went to the marshal's office, $750 went to the indigent defender's office, $34 went to the clerk's fund, $127.50 went to the Ware Center, $28 to the Louisiana Commission on Law Enforcement, $201.50 went to the off-duty witness fees, $51 went to the court case management information system, $70 to the Louisiana Traumatic Head and Spinal Cord Injury Trust Fund, $170 to the Judicial Building Fund, $7 to the Judicial Education Fund, totaling $17,244.
Do I have a motion to accept the chief's report?
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Wayne Edwards.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Michael Roy. Cast your vote, please. Motion passes unanimously. Could we have your verbal?
Yeah, I just want to congratulate Lieutenant Brandon Curry, Sergeant Donald Bryce, Sergeant Mitch Hackett, and Sergeant Jeremy Sitter for their promotions. These young men, they work hard for the city on a pretty regular basis. The month of May, the Minden Police Department worked 32 accident reports. We received 846 calls for service. We worked 145 incident reports. We made 83 arrests. We wrote 146 traffic citations, issued 105 arrest warrants, and actually served 93 arrest warrants during the month of May. I did want to give y'all just a little heads up. We just been at, we started the STEP program, the Safety Traffic Enforcement Program, on I think it was Thursday, June the 2nd. We just had one unit out. We still have one unit at Harrington's. We're waiting on one part that was supposed to have been overnight, and it was supposed to have been ready today, but I haven't seen it, so I don't know. I don't think it is ready, but we ought to have it in the next day or two. But the first day we were out, we actually wrote 28 citations. The second, and with just one unit, and the second day, we wrote 32 citations, and then, of course, we ran into the rain Friday and the rain Saturday, and that kind of messed the whole program up. But so in 2 days, we wrote 60 tickets. As of this morning, I pulled up our online payment system, and there was actually 15 people that had paid online.
How many?
15.
15.
So, yeah. Alcohol arrest during the first 5 months, pulled up a couple of stats. We've arrested 16 people on public intoxication. We've had 8 DWIs and 9 open container charges. So, you know, the alcohol in Minden has not really increased those arrests a lot since we started selling alcohol in the city. And that's basically all I have.
You said it had not?
No, they're elevated a little bit, but
Well,
not
that's what I
much.
thought you and I had discussed.
It's just not, it's not overwhelming at all.
Does anybody else have any questions of the chief? Thank you, Chief.
Mayor, before you vote, can I say something?
There's no vote there.
Okay. I'd just like to say on behalf of Calvary Baptist Church how much we appreciate Chief Cropper and Detective Griffith for the work they did. Some of you may not know, but our church trailer was stolen on a Tuesday morning, and we have the trailer back and all of what was, they worked very well on that project and everything. Appreciate it a lot.
Appreciate your comment. Now we're going to go to public comments that we've already had one. Does anybody have any comments? Yes, sir.
Really briefly, Tracy Campbell, really briefly, just wanted to say officially thank you to each of you for voting in favor of fixing the streets. The only downside to it is I've been complaining about it for about 3 years now, and I'm going to have to come up with some new material. But don't worry, I'll be working on that. But anyway, thank you. Thank you again tonight. Appreciate y'all taking action on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. Are there any other, I know, Jennifer, it's hard to live with him, isn't it? Yes, sir, would you come on up?
May I have a handout? Can I have it out?
Sure.
No agenda.
You need to give us your name.
Name and address.
Okay. My name is Cedric Floyd, 1901 Iowa Avenue, Kenner, Louisiana. Just had a brief
Yes, sir.
presentation I wanted to do to the council.
Do you have some handouts?
Yeah.
I'll walk down there and pick them up.
Good, thank you. I have many more.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council, and other elected and appointed officials. I'm Cedric Floyd, President of Data Center LLC, as a full-service reapportionment redistricting company. Within the next 90 days, the 2020 census will be released. With that being released, your city will have to redistrict based on population change, and that's state and federal law. With 40 years of providing redistricting services, Data Center is the most experienced redistricting company in the state. We have worked for 40 governmental bodies and 16 election cases, and I'll be brief in the qualifications there in the governmental bodies. We did police jury, DeSoto, Natchitoches, Red River, Sabine Parish, police juries, City of Mansfield, City of Winsboro, and we have worked throughout the state. Prior to your next election next year, you must redistrict because it's going to be population shift, because in the 10 years since the 2010 census, you have some people moving in the city, some people moving out, you've had deaths, and also people moving within the city. And with those changes, it's never equal population shift among your 5 districts. So you must redistrict, and it's like I say, that's part of state law, RS 33:382. And we provide those services. My contact information is on the cover, and just want to make that presentation, let it be known that we do redistricting services. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any other comments from the audience? Is there anybody outside? Okay, we will move to council comments, and we'll start with Mr. Edwards on the end, District A.
I want to thank the city crews for the work they've done over the past few days, keeping the streets open and the utilities on. And I also want to give a shout out for the people in District A for their patience while we work through this dilemma. Everybody was real calm and cool. That I appreciate.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards. Ms. Walker, District B.
Yeah, I want to reiterate what Mr. Edwards saying, thanking the city crews. They work so diligently to restore power and, clear the streets. Also, I want to recognize, because we had a constituent in District A that was recognized by KSLA because he's worked at Clement Industries for 50 years. So just to recognize him at this council meeting, Mr. James Buddy Baker, that's worked at Clement's for 50 years. And also, happy Father's Day to all the fathers and father figures.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Walker. Mr. Bradford, District C.
I'd like to thank the crews and how well a job they did on the last storm that we had. And I also would like to thank Chief Cropper. We've got an athlete by the name of Louis Dunbar, one of the greatest athletes in the state of Louisiana. He's been inducted into the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame from between the 24th and 26th. And I want to thank you, Chief, for a donation. And we're also planning a Juneteenth celebration on Saturday, June 19th at Bath Park for anybody who's interested. Everybody's welcome. We need your help. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Bradford. Mr. Roy, District D.
Of course, everybody so far has thanked the line crews, water crews, street crews, police department. I think it was about 5:30 in the morning when the mayor started calling with the damage, and we got out, started assessing what was going on, and so we spent several days trying to get this cleaned up. And had it not been for these guys and getting these extra crews up here, we would have had a mess on our hand, a bigger mess than we did. So thanks is just not enough. I'd also like to thank the people, the Methodist Church and other places that came out and helped feed these guys that were here. I know Friday and Saturday and some Sunday, all these folks were fed. And so we appreciate everyone who did that. So thank you again. Secondly, school is out. We've got a lot of kids that will be riding bicycles, playing in the yards, around the roads. Please be mindful. I was driving home the other night, and a matter of seconds, a young man almost hit a little boy on a bicycle. Just made me sick at my stomach. So please, please, folks, watch your speed. Watch out for these children. Be mindful of those children. And just once again, thank the crews and everybody for what they did.
Thank you, Mr. Roy. Ms. Bloxham, District E.
Echo thanks to the crews. And then I want to remind and invite everyone down to Main Street this weekend for Main to Main. Excuse me, no, it's Grilling on Main. I'm sorry, Grilling on Main. Last year, we were unable to host this event because of COVID, so all the interested parties are really going to the nth degree to make this a big success. It's Friday and Saturday downtown. There are events even for the young people to show their grilling talents. The weather's predicted to be without rain, sunshine, and 90-degree temperatures. So those of y'all who have cabin fever from the rain, this is a great opportunity to come out and have some great food and mix and mingle with your neighbors. Thank you.
I'm fixing to echo a little bit about what everybody said. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the police officers. I feel like we have a good police force down there, and a lot of officers there out there day and night, and we appreciate their service to our city. The tornado of May the 27th, we hit the ground running that morning between 3:30 and 4 o'clock in the morning. I also would like to thank the line crews, water department, street crews, the fire department for getting all of their chainsaws out and getting out there. Our warehouse that stayed open extra long hours till we could get all of our parts that we needed to fix everything. And we had many other volunteers that I'm probably going to miss, but a lot of civic groups. The thing about Minden is sometimes we might have our distance, our problems and things like that, but when we have something like this happen, our town is really resilient. We all come together. We work to put ourselves back together. And we did an amazing job, and our out-of-town crews did an amazing job too. They took them about 3 hours to get here, and that's the reason we have all these veteran department heads that have 30 and 40 years worth of service with them. They know how to get prepared, and they know how to do their job, and we appreciate each and every one of them. And we also, behind the scenes type people, you know, in your light and water department and in your power plant, taking all of these many phone calls, and we appreciate all of them. Our Babs Water Park is open. Victory and Ewell is continued to be closed because we continue to have vandalism there. We're working on getting those boxes and timers repaired and replaced, so hopefully they'll work again. The pool will open tomorrow. The hours of the pool are from 1 to 7 Tuesday through Friday, and on Saturdays from 10 to 3. It's closed on Sunday and Monday. Now the pool, it's only going to open in the morning if we can get the pH balance. For those of you that have pools out there, as much rain as we've had, you know it's hard to get the pH correct on that. And when you have a public swimming pool, it's even more important that you have everything in there so there won't be any germs or anything like that. We will social distance in the swimming pool, and when I say we're going to social distance, we'll only allow so many in the pool at a time. Grilling on Main. Grilling on Main, like Ms. Bloxham said, it's June the 11th and 12th. B1 Bank is our title sponsor for them, and we appreciate their sponsorship of them. And we have little grillers that are sponsored by Ace Hardware to be in the parking lot over here where you pay your utility bills to drive up. They'll get to keep their little grill and things like that, so it's not too late to register for that. Our Cornhole Tournament is June the 11th. It's usually on Pearl Street. It's going to be at GBT's new downtown location right here on the corner of Broadway and East Union. They will have the Cornhole Tournament there. Also, this weekend we have Bricktown, and Bricktown is where you shop local and shop small and invest in your community, and that is definitely showing up, people shopping local and investing in our community because their sales taxes are way up, and we greatly appreciate y'all staying local and shopping local. Also, Splash Kingdom that's located on West 70th over in Shreveport. I know that's a jump, but they're having a Minden Day on the 13th, which is this Sunday, and they're going to let everybody in there. As long as they show their Minden address, they're going to let everybody in there for $14. So we appreciate the attendance tonight. We appreciate our citizens of Minden. It looks like we dodged the bullet again this afternoon for that heavy wind, except for one tree over on McIntyre, and we're getting that resolved, or it's probably already resolved by now. But I want each of y'all to have a great week and a wonderful weekend, and with that, we're adjourned.